Hello, and thanks for listening to JoJo's Bizarre Podcast.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Miles. My name is Mark. That was Miles, who just threw off my timing. And as always, we are also joined by Jackie. Hello, Jackie.
Stone Ocean.
That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yay.
This is a podcast that focuses on the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, first started in 2012, although we also have covered the OVAs and the live-action movie and TV dramas and all the other good stuff that's out there and animated of JoJo, and we've only ever covered JoJo on this podcast as well. That's right, this is episode 257 of Only JoJo Talk. And if you're new to the podcast...
We've been doing minute by minutes of all the JoJo's episodes.
Right, we're like the TV show 24, but we should be called like 23, and it's in reference to minutes of a JoJo episode.
Okay.
If you're new to this podcast, number one, thank you for listening, and number two, sorry. This week we are going to be talking about the first episode of the Stone Ocean anime, which I can't believe I'm saying. I can't believe it's finally out. And upon finishing it, I think Jackie and I both were thinking, I can't believe we decided to only watch one a week.
Yeah.
That was a mistake, huh?
Well, I mean, I don't regret it, but I also want to just binge it all. What I want to do is just watch it and then rewatch the one episode before we do the pod. So that way we've seen it and I don't feel like I'm missing out.
But then if you have any questions where you're like, and what's the deal with this? You won't
I can't
organically
ask those anymore.
have those.
Yeah, that's true.
You'd be faking it.
That's true.
I don't do that to you guys.
I'm sure the listeners love when I'm just sitting here like, and I hope that this thing gets resolved or like, I hope that this happens, and the listeners are like, nope.
And I'm like, let's get some of their housekeeping stuff out of the way. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so by going to, oh God, am I going to read the whole URL? No, we're at JJBpod on Twitter. If you don't know how to find people on Twitter, sucks to suck. I don't know. And if you have any thoughts, by the way, about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, about the Stone Ocean adaptation without spoilers, you can write to jojosbizarrepod@gmail.com. And if you want to ask us what our favorite stand is, just dig back through the old episodes. You'll find us talk about it. Yeah, so before we jump in to... I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like, it's so weird to be back on the JoJo groove.
I know, wow.
I'm like...
We're actually talking about what we're supposed to talk about.
Even though it's only one episode and it's like simpler, I'm like, what else could I ask? Miles, when you finished the first episode, did you think like, yeah, that's enough for one episode, that's enough out of me, or did you want to watch more?
I think I can handle one a week.
All right,
fine.
Whatever. Anyway, before we really jump into episode 1, let's take a stop in our no, they're not patrons because they're not on Patreon.
They're not Patreon. What are we doing? Listener letters?
I'm trying to do Correspondence Corner.
Prison pen pals.
Yeah.
Let's take a stop in our pen pal prison. This is where emails are sent to the aforementioned JoJo's Bizarre Pod at gmail.com, and we read them on the air with no edits at all. It's led to some very upsetting moments.
That's not true.
All right, not all of that's
Mark
true.
Mark is lying.
I'm a liar. Jackie, do you want to read this first email?
This email is from Tyler. The subject line is call out post. Call out post. What's up, JJB Pod? This is Tyler, from the Patreon list. I'm writing to confess that I have, in fact, been a disloyal listener of late, only actually getting to a few shows. I have no excuse. I almost wrote something about Baki, but I'd be lying by writing about a recent show. You also got my 3 smackers a month anyway, so who's the real sucker here? Anyway, happy to be back. Absence makes the heart grow hornier. Did we read this last time?
Did we?
I think we did, didn't we?
No.
We didn't? Okay. I feel like somebody else also wrote in saying that they haven't been listening.
I think it's Miles' fault.
Oh.
Okay.
I feel like Miles told people
that they haven't been listening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those cute, impossible tasks. Because they can't hear you if they haven't been listening.
Nobody has to listen to us.
That's true. Thanks for writing, and I appreciate you being honest. And I don't know if absence makes the heart grow hornier, by the way. I think you have to see somebody to be horny.
I think if you stop...
I think that's true.
If you stop indulging in your horniness for a little while, it will make your horniness grow fonder or whatever.
Your horniness grow fonder?
Whatever it is.
All right.
Whatever we're talking about. Or your
Sure.
your heart grow hornier.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about.
My Heart Will Grow Horny by Celine Dion.
Makes the horny grow hornier.
Yeah. Miles, can you read the next one?
Yeah, this next email is from Kenny. The subject line is, yes, finally, the legendary masturbation meme animated. I didn't know this was... Okay. Hey there, wonderful JJB pod crew. Netflix is running, notebook is ready, Gmail is open. Time to write some thoughts on JJBA Part 6. I'll try to write every week, but you'll probably get flooded with mails anyway, so it's probably okay if I forget it from time to time. We are not flooded with mails. Or emails.
I think actually it's good if each of the listeners write an email. I think that's a good idea because the episodes are short. Normally we talk about 3 episodes at a time. So if we're only going to talk about 1 episode, it probably is good to also have good listener content and questions and stuff.
Yeah, but it's not on them. They
True.
can write in if they want.
That's true. This is our show.
But yeah, you don't have to worry about, is it going to take too long? Like, nah, probably not.
All right, I'm going to keep reading this.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
First, I've read part 6, and of all the manga parts, it's my favorite. Yes, even better than SBR, which is Super Brother
It's
Racing.
Steel Ball
Jolene
Run.
is probably
Yes.
the realest JoJo with the most interesting character and nuance, and the most stylish one as well. The first episode sounds and looks fantastic. Jolene's theme is absolutely badass, and so is the OP and ED, which aren't in episode 1 BTW.
Okay.
The characters look gorgeous, and some scenes look better than JoJo's has ever looked before. Like when we see Jolene's thread stand for the first time. Some still frames and backgrounds of the prison are not looking as good, but there aren't too many, so that's okay. Also, there are some ugly side characters, yes. Like the female prison guards or the little dolphin-looking fella. The VA is top-notch. I got goosebumps every time Jolene yelled or cried. Fairouge has such an awesome, emotional voice. The English dub isn't as good, but there are some funny memeable lines like, those titties are suspicious.
Yes.
Great story so far, and it will get a lot better. The best thing for me was that grumpy delinquent Jotaro is the reason for somebody's daddy issues, which is absolutely hilarious and fitting at the same time. My question for you this week is, why does Jolene's lawyer look like an elf dressed as the Riddler? Yes, I have the same question. Okay then, mail is long enough. Have fun with episode 2. Kenny. P.S. Every time the moonlight shines through the windows bars, I wake up feeling so horny. Yes. Good email, Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, good email. As far as the lawyer looking the way he does,
I think he's Pan. I think he's the mythological Greek god or whatever.
like the little trickster fairy character.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I thought he was like part goat. He kind of looks like a goat to me,
Well,
especially like when he's dying. Spoilers. Or, well, I guess we don't know that he dies. When he's about to crash, his like tongue flapping out of his mouth, he looks like a goat.
okay.
Yeah, he's dead for sure.
I mean, he might be fine. We didn't see any spiritual dust rise out of his body.
This is all in the
Oh, yeah,
lore.
that's true.
This is all in the Greek mythology.
Oh, the Pan drives a car into a bridge wall?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, being attacked with thread powers.
Wow. We did hear the OP last week. We just heard it in isolation. We saw the intro, and it's pretty cool. It would have been nice to see it here, but they obviously had to cram a lot in.
Yeah, there's too much tent.
There's a lot of content, yeah. Jackie and I watched, Jackie, you watched all of the English dub.
I watched, so we watched Japanese together. I watched all of the English dub by myself
Of episode 1.
of episode 1. Yeah, episode 1. And I also watched...
What was Mark doing while you watched it?
Mark was reading the manga.
Yep.
Loser. No.
What a nerd.
I said it like Mark was reading the manga. And I also watched bits of the Spanish one, but not the whole thing. I just wanted to get a feel for the voice actress in Spanish. And
I did come down and watch the second half of the English dub. It's not like I've never heard it.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
it is pretty good, I think.
Thought it was good.
So it's like from the 3 that I listened to, the Japanese is by far the best. Like just all the voice acting is good, but Jolene is just really good. Like her like that like kind of like emotion and like grit in her voice when she yells. It's like you get that it's the same intensity from like the other JoJo's. It's just as good as all the other JoJo's, and it's like you if I heard a clip of that without knowing it was JoJo's, I would be able to tell it was JoJo's because it just like the intensity in her voice in those moments are really good. English is also really good, just not as good, but I thought that they did a really good job. Spanish, I think that they don't really know what JoJo's is, and they just dubbed it. You know what I mean? Like they read the script and they were like, okay, we're gonna dub it, but doesn't sound like I think the voice actress wasn't a good choice. She's like too sweet sounding, when she sounds just like a nice, sweet protagonist, and she's just not as intense.
Okay, yeah. The English dub voice actor is Kira Buckland, former guest of the show.
Yay!
Kira was on episode 72 of this podcast, which means years ago.
What did we even talk about that episode?
I think we just awkwardly talked about what it's like to be a voice actor, and she had just then done a Street Fighter character that had just come out.
Oh yeah, okay.
And she talked about liking Jolene and probably mentioned wanting to do her voice someday.
Yeah.
And then she did it recently. What
Amazing.
the fuck? And
you can achieve your dreams.
You can do it. Some people can do it.
But not everyone can. Now no one else can be Jolene because they've already done it.
I'd say of all the people in the world, every year 4 people get to accomplish their dreams and everyone else has to settle. So,
and all of them have mentioned their dreams on this podcast. That's the common thread.
Yeah, that's okay. To be honest, we do talk about stuff outside of JoJo's, and it's what everyone's dreams are in the world.
Yeah. This year, all 4 dreams that were realized were the different language voice actors in JoJo's as Jolene.
Wait a minute. What are the 4? You Spanish, Japanese, English, and...
I don't know. Probably like Portuguese, or like somebody was like, I want to do Jolene.
Do they have a Portuguese dub?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, man.
I think. I need to listen to that. We should just listen to all of them.
I don't know. I can't listen to Portuguese for too long or I get sick. Sorry, that sounds mean. I just like Spanish. Even Italian's pushing it. Anyway.
Italian sounds weird to me because I'm like, I almost understand it, but it's wrong. It just sounds wrong.
Yeah, because you speak Spanish.
Yes. I'm
okay.
Fluent in
I have
Spanish.
a question.
Yeah.
Is the masturbation thing is legendary? It's a meme?
I don't know. I don't chill in JoJo fandom circles too often. I have seen some memes, some ancient memes, and I do not recall anybody talking about this masturbation thingy. I do remember it. In my head, I forget. So for listeners who don't know, I read this way back in like 2006, like fan translations of the comic. And in my head, this was a scene about pissing, because I forgot that it was about masturbation.
Okay.
So in recent years thinking about it, I was like, they always talk about piss on JoJo's. And I guess I somehow thought that a guard saw her pissing into a toilet, which they probably do see often. Anyway, I thought Kira sounded great. In general, I mean, I won't name it, but Jackie and I had to, we had to watch an anime dubbed in English earlier this week. And this JoJo's was like, actually sounded good, actually sounded like the actors were putting their all into it.
Yeah.
And they all sounded different, which was nice. Whereas the other anime we watched, it was kind of painful. So yeah, I know that isn't the best compliment you can pay a voice cast. You didn't sound as bad as this other bad thing. But
you sounded like you really cared about the source material.
Yeah, they sounded good.
Yeah.
Was there anything else in that email?
Well, I mean...
Oh.
Nothing for us to address.
Not really. Just why does the lawyer look like an elf? And I think my answer answered it. Yeah, we covered it.
Parts 5 and 6 of JoJo probably have some of the ugliest things Araki has ever drawn. Some of the ugliest characters.
Did he draw the lawyer character like that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's what the lawyer looks like. If you want to remember,
it makes him look. It's because he's like the devil. I think that's. I think that's what we're supposed to believe. He is like evil.
The lawyer is not that ugly. I'm talking about like the prison guard that the lawyer talks to.
Yeah.
Is that ugly in the manga? I checked.
Okay.
And you know, if you think about it, like Pesci back in part 5 looked like a fucking eggplant or whatever.
Yeah.
The Mamoni character. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Araki in this point of his life, but anyway.
Maybe he doesn't know what people look like.
He spent too much time in his drawing studio and just like got
Yeah.
human blindness. Forgot. He's like, well, these are the comic book
Or he
characters.
got bored of like writing non-grotesque people. He was just like, let's make this person look awful.
Yeah, maybe he thought it was, since he's into fashion so much, maybe he was like, this is the new fashionable way people will look. And everyone was like, what
It's
the fuck is this?
Listen, the next level of fashion is just malformed skin.
Yeah, getting like implants and Botox around your eyes so that it looks like you have permanent goggles,
Oh my god.
like that
That's
prison
right.
guard guy.
It's like, he looks like a frog.
He doesn't look good.
He looks like a frog and an onion, like in some kind of horrible experiment.
They went into that machine in The Fly and they popped out. Well, I guess we should add a human in there, right? Not just a frog and an onion.
Yeah, I guess there's a human.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, this last email is from Chad, and the subject line is back to JoJo and info for those split on Ranma 1/2. Yeah, that's pretty good about the split thing half. Anyway, last week we covered Ranma 1/2, which is a JoJo's anime.
No, it's not.
I've decided. Aloha, JJB Pod Ohana. And just like that, we've got new JoJo episodes again. Never mind that the wait after Part 5 ended and David Pro finally confirming Part 6 took what felt like forever, right? Anyway, I have little to any knowledge about this part except something I spoiled for myself at the beginning of Part 5. Be
Aw.
careful visiting individual character wikis.
Aw.
That's actually good advice for anything.
Yeah.
I spoiled something in Eva, kind of, because I was like, let me look up Gendo, forgetting that there were like new movies that I hadn't seen yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chad's email continues. Here's a couple quick JoJo voice connections for episode 1. Jolene's horrible boyfriend Romeo shares his actor with the main characters of popular and recent shows Black Clover, Fire Force, and Komi Can't Communicate, as well as the voice of the Cell Shokakan Saibo from Cells at Work, the judge that sends Jolene off to prison for 15 years. 15 years shares his voice actor with the sludge monster villain that popped up in the beginning of My Hero Academia.
He's a sludge.
Yeah. The very strangely shaped human prison worker that talks to the lawyer as he's leaving the prison shares his voice actor with the chubbier police records office from Terror in Resonance. The unnamed and surprisingly prudish holding cell prisoner with a lot of facial piercings
Yes.
shares her voice actor with a woman named Anita from Part 5 who ends up a victim of Meloni and, quote, gives birth to his stand babyface. For anyone who is on the fence about watching more Ranma 1/2, here are a number of things asked by the podcast hosts that do show up in the show, either showing up over the course of the TV show or if you marathon just the OVA and movies. So you get to learn how Ranma ends up with a bunch of fiancés thanks to his idiot father.
Okay.
You can see Ranma pretend to be his own long-lost female cousin Ranko to avoid painful death at the hands of his own mother.
Okay.
And you get to see more nipples.
Oh, good.
Sorry for the long
Yes.
email. I can't wait to hear what you all thought. I know it can be tough to not let the next episode play, but be strong.
It's tough.
Mahalo, Chad. P.S. Sumo clubs are very much a thing in Japan, and there was even an awesome shonen anime about a sumo club called Hinomaru Zumo, which I highly recommend. P.P.S. Beware of early dawn moonlight peeking through the barred windows.
Mm-hmm. Makes you horny.
Yeah, for some reason it makes you horny. We'll talk about it. Thanks for that email.
I'm going to
Chad.
tell my dad to watch that sumo anime.
Yeah. I'm eager to hear what he says about it. I think that he'll just be like, I started watching and got bored and turned it off.
Does your dad watch anime?
We'll find out.
Okay.
No, he does not, though.
He currently does not. But who knows?
He does watch sumo wrestling, though.
Yes. That's awesome. You should tell him to throw the pillow. Even if there's no
Okay.
Yokozuna being defeated, he should just throw a pillow at the TV.
Sure, okay.
Okay, those were all emails sent to jojosbizarrepod@gmail.com. Another way to interact with us, and I promise we'll get to the actual episode in just a second. But if you go to patreon.com/jjbpod, you can support the show. You can pay either $1 or $3 a month. Both of those things help us out. Both of those get you access to the Patreon feed, which includes Miles's weekly cultural reference newsletter and some extra content, including just missing audio, or I did some specials about the Death Note soundtrack sounding like other songs that have come out over the years, and I reacted to one episode of JoJolion. One chapter of JoJolion. So you can find that all on our Patreon. The difference between the two tiers, of course, besides one meaning you're nicer and wealthier, is that $3 a month means we will read your name out loud on this podcast and say thank you in a heartfelt manner, like so. So thank you so much to Nocturnal,
Lord Zenda,
Kassoon,
Austin,
Caleb,
Chad,
Christian,
Jumbo,
Caden,
Katie,
Kenny,
Bloof,
Martin,
Ken Barron,
Michael,
Nick,
Tim,
and Tyler.
Tyler.
Yes, thank you all so much. And thank you to
Thank you.
Tyler for writing an email about
Thank
how
you.
they don't listen. But yeah, you are all very helpful and you make us all feel very proud of the work that is totally not in quotation marks that we do on this podcast. Let's take a quick break and then we'll talk about episode 1 of Stone Ocean, the anime.
Beep boop 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 beep boop boop.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk about the first episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, which just came out here December 1st, along with the other 12 episodes. Do you guys know when this manga section came out? I don't think you do.
90s?
No.
January 1st, 2000
Okay.
is when the Stone Ocean comic book started.
But it takes place in the 90s.
Nope, takes place in 2011.
Oh.
Yes.
In the future?
So
Yes.
he was imagining the future?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he already decided to jump part 4 ahead to be in 1999, and then he just had to keep that going. And so even though part 5 was written in the late 90s, it was going through the 2000s, which also meant that his music references were a little out of date, and I think they will be a little out of date here.
So this show has, so they skipped 9/11.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was part of the time gap.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That would have probably impacted, I don't know how much Florida prisoners really,
No.
I don't know. Anyway, how dare you bring that up?
So this takes place
This
in
would have been at
2011.
Guantanamo.
Takes place
good,
in
Miles.
2011.
Takes place in 2011.
Okay. Can you can you stop sharing your screen?
Oh yeah, shit, it's got spoilers.
Yeah, get this out of here.
All right. Is it ended? Did I end it yet?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, I love that the JoJo Wiki says, the Wiki is currently experiencing extreme amounts of traffic ever since the release of Stone Ocean. We
Aw.
apologize for the downtime and slowness.
Good problem to have. Good problem to have.
I guess.
It is.
Anyway,
It's a good.
We're also experiencing slowness because of the popularity of this podcast.
we'll see.
so-
We'll see. I need to go and record, and I need to re-record episode 0 and be like, look, here's where all the parts of the anime started.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, and this manga ran through 2003, I believe, which really gives you perspective on how much faster a weekly comic moves, because parts 7 and 8 took fucking forever to finish.
Mm.
And I think they might be longer overall than this one, but this was weekly. Anyway, so what did you guys think?
I missed the show.
Yeah. It's good. I have a lot of questions.
It's good.
Go ahead.
I forgot. I forgot the experience of and maybe this is it's more than other parts, but this was like a whiplash sort of opening, because of the masturbation, because of the screaming about 15 years,
Mhm.
somebody's head gets chopped off with a thread. I feel like this turned up the volume very quickly, and I don't know if that's just from being away from the show for a while.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, Stardust Crusaders has the introduction of stands, and Jotaro fires a gun at his own head at point blank range. So yeah, Araki definitely likes to start with a bang, no pun intended.
Yeah. The second scene is the masturbation one, and it definitely catches your attention. It's this is what this show. This is where we are in this show.
Yeah, it's funny that in that exchange among Jolene, Hermes, the woman with all the shit in her face,
Yeah.
And the unnamed twin prisoners that are in the cell with Hermes.
They look very young and they're creepy.
They were weird. That at some point she's talking about how Jolene in this scene is talking about how embarrassed she is that she was masturbating, and this guard that does she say looks like Tom Cruise?
No.
What does she say the guard looks like?
But just that he's handsome. He's young and handsome.
Okay. In the manga she says it looks like Tom Cruise, and she refers to him as Tom Cruise later. But like at some point Hermes is like, how far down were your panties?
Yeah.
I guess you're asking how much could he have seen, but okay.
Yeah, well, because she wants. So this scene is funny because Jolene is being very dramatic about it. Like she's embarrassed and she's very dramatic. She's just like, my life is over. I'll never get married.
Yeah, it's so weird because it's like you're in jail
and you're screaming about it. Now everybody knows. It's like it's an embarrassing thing, and now everybody knows about it. And meanwhile, Hermes is just like. Oh, like, ooh, this is juicy. Tell me more. I want to picture it, basically. And she's like, give me all the details. Which guard was it? Where were your panties? Was your ass in the air? Like, tell me, like.
What were you thinking about?
Yeah. And she tells them what she was thinking about, which also is an embarrassing thing. Don't tell people you fucking get off at looking at the moonlight or whatever.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I couldn't figure that out. Like, maybe when she was a civilian, they would do like prison role play sex, her and her traitor boyfriend, and so maybe then this became real. Maybe she had sex with like harmonicas, just rectangles that have lines in them remind her of it. I don't know. It's a weird thing to make you horny.
No, listen, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
That's true.
That's amore.
That's a horny.
That's a horny. I like that it starts out horny. I think that is an important for the brand of the show and for this podcast in particular.
Yeah, it's, when you're doing something in comedy, at least, they say like, don't start too crazy. They're like, don't start at a 10.
Yeah.
But this show has no problem starting at a 10 because the show has its own scale.
Because it starts at a 10 and then somewhere it's going to go to like 15, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't have any animal murder though, right?
No animal murder, just person murder.
A few person murders.
What are the JoJo tropes that we got in this first episode? We got
deadbeat dad, big one.
Bad
dad issues.
We had musical references, which I have to ask you about.
Oh.
Okay. We got weirdo looking people, like grotesque looking people.
Yeah.
We got wild fashion even in a prison environment.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, wild fashion that nobody seems to comment on.
It's going to take a while for me to not be like, why aren't you wearing an orange jumpsuit?
Yeah, or some jumpsuit, even if it's green or something.
The guards are all wearing uniforms.
Yeah. Well, they're not main characters in a JoJo manga.
Yeah, I guess.
Obvi.
Not yet.
We have a Western setting. That's something JoJo loves to do, which is Araki. Araki, would write about how he likes to experience things, or at least in the form of Rohan's character, he'd be like, you have to experience things to write about them.
Mm-hmm.
And Rohan's like, that's why I even eat the bug, because I gotta know. But like, Araki, I'm sure, has visited America, but rarely do you get the vibe that he like gets the essence of it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The way they like bring up plea bargaining made me wonder if plea bargaining is like a uniquely American thing.
I actually looked it up.
Thank you.
For a long time, it was a uniquely American thing, but other countries have adopted it in more recent years. But I think up until like the 70s, it was like just, or something like that, 70s or 80s, it was mostly a U.S. thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this was written way after that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe they didn't get it in Japan. They don't have. Maybe they don't have that in Japan.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess in this comic, Araki's being like, have you heard what these dumbasses do? They say if you just admit that you're guilty, they give you a little bit less of a sentence. Even if if they would have found you guilty and wasted everyone's time, they'd give you a harsher sentence.
Well, it depends on the bargain, right? So there are ones where you admit what you did and you in exchange for a lesser, or you say that you plead guilty in exchange for a lesser sentence. There's ones where you plead to a lesser sentence. So like let's say, I don't know, do you know how there's like multiple degrees of murder or whatever? Like you plead they let you plea a lesser charge or one of the other charges, and you're the big severe one that has a lot of years to it gets dropped. So that's another way to do a plea bargain.
It's just weird because it feels like the punishment is supposed to fit the crime. Not the punishment is supposed to fit the crime unless you make it easy for us and say what we want to hear. You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's also like because prison sentences are so harsh in America.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge incentive to take the plea bargain even if you're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like I guess there's so many like people to jail that we're like, all right, come on, we got to hurry it up. If you just fucking make it real fast for us so we don't have to waste all this time and money and energy putting you through it and forcing you to admit it, then we'll be nice. We won't give you as bad a sentence. We'll give you a regular sentence.
Yeah, it's a big problem that like you're pushed into not going through a fair trial a lot of the time.
Yeah. And I also look forward to this anime exposing just the dangers of for-profit prison industries. And I like that Araki has taken this setting on because he's going to challenge those socio-political issues.
I don't think
But Araki was pro-abolition long before it was popular.
Oh.
That's crazy. I mean, JoJo's is always upending what you think about politics, you know? It's definitely not whatever it is.
It's going to be just more, it's going to, like, I predict we're going to get a fart joke somewhere.
Yes, we'll probably get a fart joke. Will a dog be exploded or disemboweled or lose its head?
It'll be farts and poops and piss somewhere along the line, especially in this kind of setting. There's going to be some gross stuff. There's going to be I feel like there has to be a shower scene because there's going to be there's probably going to be period jokes. Oh no, Araki's going to do his research about women. he first learned about female masturbation. You know what that segment was missing? It was missing like a kind of narrator that explains like
when female masturbation was invented.
The clitoris is located, blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
That would be
like how
really useful.
How women masturbate or whatever, or like
how they masturbated in the 18th century,
or some kind of like differences in
Western
something.
versus Japanese styles.
No,
like
it's clockwise versus counterclockwise.
in Australia, they definitely do it backwards. Yeah. Orthodox versus Southpaw. Anyway, yeah, like so I read it a long time ago. I forgot a lot of this, maybe most of it, one could say, and so I don't know if this is true, but I would not be shocked if there was like a little dog that was somehow in the jail.
Yeah.
And gets his like face kicked in.
Jail.
Maybe a prison,
like a dog in a jumpsuit.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe one of those prison dogs. Not prison dogs, police dogs, like a police dog.
Oh, like the canine unit.
Yeah, could be a police dog.
Maybe. I mean, where she is in jail, I don't think you would see one of those, but
there could be a police dog that sniffs for drugs to see if any of the women have drugs.
Yeah.
You know, they could do that.
It could be. So just
aside from it, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just to get it out of the way, unless this is more relevant, unless what you were going to say was more relevant, Miles, I was going to bring up the musical references or whatever references.
No, you've been meaning to get to that. I have questions for you guys, though.
Okay. So did Jolene name her stand in this episode? I don't know that she did, right?
No, we just hear that it's...
I don't think she even knows that it's a stand.
Yeah,
that's right.
She doesn't know what stands are. She's just like, what did my dad do to me? Is that the arrow? First of all, I have questions about her paternity. I have questions about... Or just about Joseph and how'd she get... I have questions about the background. I also have questions about the powers. Because wouldn't she have inherited powers from Jotaro?
Maybe. But before we get there, do you guys know at least where Hermes or Hermes Costello gets her name?
Yeah, I think you've said before.
Elvis Costello?
Elvis Costello, it seems to be the last name, and Hermes is a fashion brand.
Fashion, yeah, you said that.
France. Okay. Not this episode, I haven't said it. Okay. I can say it every episode if I want.
It's also a Greek god, Hermes.
That's right.
I think it's Greek.
Also, we've talked about how this is Stone Ocean, and we had already Diamond is Unbreakable. So we have the diamond element or rock, whatever the fuck. Gold Golden Experience, or Golden Wind.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Stone Ocean, which is a pretty big downgrade. Going from diamond to gold to stone.
But Ocean is, I think, an upgrade from Wind.
Not a bad point.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And what was the other one? Unbreakable. Okay.
Yeah, it's not really a thing.
Yeah.
And SBR is steel, so it kind of goes back up. Miles, what were you gonna say before?
There's like two things that I'm. Well, one, if a dog dies, I'm curious to see if a dog dies this season. Like this, it kind of feels like the season might be a departure, so maybe a dog doesn't die. And the other thing I'm curious about is like if we get, because this is the first one. We had a little bit of JoJo's in New York, but this is the first one. I feel like the whole time it's going to be in America.
Yeah, seems like it.
So I'm curious to see like what Araki's take on America is.
Yeah, but it's mostly in a prison, which I feel like you don't really have to.
It's appropriate, am I right?
You don't really have to know much about living in the U.S. because like it's a prison. But like prison life is not like regular life.
Yeah, and it's a fictional prison. I do not believe anybody would have. I don't think there's a Green Dolphin Street because it doesn't make any sense. Araki has forgotten what colors are what because he just makes whatever colors he wants. So he's like, dolphins, what color are they? Green. I don't think there's Green Dolphin Street.
Isn't that a musical reference?
Is it?
Oh no, it's a movie, Green Dolphin Street.
Oh really? What is it?
From 1947. It's a historical drama disaster film based on the novel Green Dolphin Street. Oh my god.
Is this true?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a song too.
I'm finding this.
On Green Dolphin Street. A 1947 song written for the film. And it's a Bill Evans album, which might be what Araki is most familiar with. I know he's a jazzman.
A jazzman?
Yeah.
There you go. You found the hidden musical reference.
Hidden gems.
That I
Bill
didn't
Evans
clock.
from New Jersey.
Hey, where in New Jersey? Do you know?
I think Plainfield?
What the fuck is that?
Plainfield.
All right, whatever. Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, her power. Shouldn't she already have powers if Jotaro is her dad?
Yeah, but you could have argued the same. We already should have addressed that in part 5 because Giorno does get impaled by an arrow, even though his dad is Dio, who has Jonathan Joestar's body.
Okay, so we've given up on inheriting the powers.
So my argument or my way to avoid answering that question is to say we should have already addressed that.
Okay. I've already accepted this. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like only Josuke inherited it by being born into it. Or Joseph as well.
But didn't Jotaro also? Oh no,
Yeah.
Jotaro, they were suddenly awakened and everyone got stands at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, yeah, Joseph also got his stand. I don't know how. I guess maybe at the same time that Jotaro got his stand because Dio got one. Maybe it's like once you get past a certain generation. Although, yeah, even then, Giorno should have gotten it immediately because he's Dio's son. So he's very close to the body of Jonathan Joestar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's an Araki forgot moment.
Okay.
Araki forgot his own rules or changed
Maybe
his
she
own
was
rules.
like
He changed the rules.
about to get a stand, but she got impaled by the arrow anyway. So like it like moved it up. You know?
I don't know, because Josuke, I think, got sick as a baby.
It's in part 5 though. It sounded like some people got the stand from the arrow, and some people just also had it naturally, right?
Yeah, I think that is still a thing.
Like you can just suddenly pop up with a stand. I think.
Yeah. I think that is still a thing, but we don't know why.
Did Josuke get sick as a baby because he was getting a stand at the same time as Jotaro?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay, so he didn't really inherit it either.
that's a good point.
Well,
it all just kind of awakened at the same time for all of them.
Right. It just like awakened, but they in real time inherited it from the zombie body of their great-grandfather. I don't know.
Maybe, okay, so here are the rules. If you were alive and related to like the Joestar bloodline at the time, then you got the powers. If you were not born yet, then you
missed it, buddy.
Yeah, you don't got it.
You missed it.
You got to get stabbed.
You got to get stabbed by an arrow.
Yeah. So Jackie, you briefly mentioned one of your questions. You said something like, was that the arrow?
Yes, was that the arrow? It seemed like it. Or like a part of the arrow, like a
It
broken
seemed like
part.
So regardless of whether or not it was the arrow, can we just stop and think for a second that
Okay.
Jolene seems to have awakened her stand because she accidentally cut her finger on the blade, right?
Yes, of a charm.
Whereas in part 4,
Yeah.
Koichi gets shot like in the neck with an arrow
Yeah.
and dies. And Angelo talks about being shot in the chest or something in jail with an arrow. And it's like, if you're strong enough and you survive, you'll get a stand.
Yeah.
None of them had to undergo any of that. They could have just grazed the arrowhead,
Yeah, that's true.
just cut themselves and been like, okay, I got to stand.
Yeah.
So all these people were killed by, not Angelo, the older Nijimura brother.
Mm-hmm.
It did really like screw up her finger though, for a moment.
Yeah, but it's different.
Yeah, her hand
than-
looked fucked up.
It would have been very funny if she was in that like cell talking to her lawyer, and then just like from behind through a window, Jotaro had a bow and arrow and shot her with it, and then ran away. I would have liked that.
There's also no way that would have gotten through. Like a sharp object
Yes.
would not have gone through the prison,
100%.
like the security or whatever. They would not let you have the shop. They would give you the charm and take out the stone that's inside it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Because they're
ridiculous.
even wise when people are smuggling money in their tits. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they would have caught that blade.
Which, by the way, in the subtitles at least,
I still have more questions though about the background.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I think this is my last question. But what is she doing in the U.S.? Like, who's her mom? Well, I guess you're not going to tell me who her mom is. Is it going to make sense that she lives in Florida? Is that going to make sense? Like, did Jotaro move to West
He's
Florida?
a marine biologist. Florida's like prime real estate for
That's
looking
right.
at turtles or whatever.
Okay, so he, I guess, spent a lot of time there and maybe settled down
Well,
there.
Am I wrong? Did they mention that she's also a marine, something to do with marine biology?
I think she's.
or did I make that up?
I think you made that up.
I
She seems like because they said something about her being a student. Like they said like that they like her that she can continue her studies from the prison. Like they brought her books and stuff.
wait,
They did.
but her
No. I mean, Jolene's mom was also
Oh, the
a marine
mom.
biologist.
Oh,
or
that I
something.
don't know. Maybe.
Or studied with Jotaro or something.
yeah. So it's interesting because watching this, I was thinking about how we don't know much about her mom. In Stardust Crusaders, we at least hear about Jotaro's dad, and then we never see him.
Yeah.
We do get his name right off the bat, and the fact that he's a jazz sax player.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read the manga, and I guess I could lump it all into a separate section. Please remind me if I don't. That one of the missing scenes that was in the first 3 chapters, because this episode is the first 3 chapters of the Stone Ocean manga, there's a brief scene with Jolene's mom.
Oh.
Extremely brief, though.
Okay.
It's just when she's being arrested.
Okay.
And her mom's like, what's happening? Where are they taking you? But she doesn't yell like, I'm a marine biologist, or I play the saxophone, or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are other questions? You said you think that was the last one.
I think that's the main one. I might come to more later, but I just wanted to know what she's doing in the U.S. Oh, also they said that she's half Japanese, so the mom must be like
White.
not Japanese. Yeah, white.
Although she's technically then a quarter Japanese, right?
No.
Is Jotaro not full
No,
Japanese?
Jotaro's full.
No, he's not. His mom's Holly or Holly, Joestar, in English.
Jotaro's
Or she's
mom.
Italian, right? Isn't he half Italian American, half Japanese?
Italian.
Yeah, his mom is Holly Joestar.
No. His
Or she's American.
Oh, his mom is Holly and his dad is a Japanese man. Okay. So
Mhm.
Jotaro is half and so she is, I guess, a quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
God damn you half Japanese girls.
That's a song?
You do it to me every time.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a song by Weezer.
Okay.
And yes, this is a reference to that song El Scorcho by Weezer.
El
Stupid.
Scorcho!
Such a dumb sounding song. It's like, guys, like that, just that guitar riff. You're like, could you like go back and write a real riff? Can you not do this shit? Clearly grown out of like a jerk off practice session. Good album. What the hell is that song? Anyway,
It's a good album.
it's a good album.
No, they're not like, they're not Rush or whatever.
Well,
They've got simple songs.
There's got to be room between like bang a bang 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 a bang bang and like, can we write a song? Jackie is totally apathetic.
I do not care.
Jackie does not give a shit.
I do not.
Jackie is riff blind. She can only hear vocals,
It's true.
and that's it. You could play any guitar part, and she's like, it's the same.
That's not true, but it's not that. It's not. I just don't care.
Jackie,
You're
I
right.
want you to use mouth noises to imitate one riff for me right now.
What's a riff?
A guitar riff. Like if you said like Paramore song, you could go like da-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. That's the riff. Okay. That's Don't Stop, Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Or Can't Stop? I don't know.
Can't stop. I think it's Can't Stop.
Okay. All right. Fine. I'll let you have it this time, Jackie.
Ha.
Just says I'm gonna win big. Red Hot Chili Peppers is a JoJo reference.
Oh. Yeah, they were named after the villain from Part 4, actually.
So what's with her?
Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
What's with her ability to tell somebody's like something about their sex life by looking at their finger?
I don't know. I think it's bullshit.
I also find it suspicious that she was talking about that stuff, and then Hermes is like, "Are you half Japanese?" And I'm like, "What does that have to do with anything? Like, is that a Japanese thing to look at fingers and be able to think you can tell something from it?"
Yeah, that may have been added by the anime or the subtitlers. I'm not sure if that's in the original, but it is weird. It's like maybe she was wondering if she was half Asian.
Yeah.
And then she finally got to open a conversation. I was like, by the way, your last name, is it Cujo, like the Stephen King dog? Or is that some Japanese word?
Mm.
And based on my watching of Terrace House, it's a question Japanese people ask.
What is?
Are you half?
They go, hafu?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, which you don't really do in America until you've talked to the person like 5 times. But maybe it's just Terrace House, the TV show. They're like, everyone's going to ask, so let's just break it out, right now.
I guess it depends on who you are. But yeah, I guess like polite conversation, you don't just ask people like, hey, what are you? But people do that.
I will do it if someone is talking to someone else and they're in the middle of a sentence. I'll be like, are you Colombian?
What country are you from?
Yeah. Where your grandma stay?
So you think the finger thing is made up?
I think it's just bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the other finger thing, which is her stand.
Yeah.
How do we think it works?
I know a little bit about how it works.
So. Okay, so I won't ask you. So here's what I've gleaned. It can listen.
Uh-huh.
And it can slice or like squeeze. It's a thread that she controls, but it has an ear at the end, I guess.
An ear? Oh yeah, because it can. It's like those
cup on a string.
Like a cup the cups on a string. Yeah, it does that. It's a string.
Like a
so it's like everything that strings can do, right? Like if you put cups at the end of them, you can hear.
I don't think that's real.
What do you mean it's real?
Is the cup on a string thing real?
Yeah,
I don't think it works.
You can do it.
Yeah, the cup on the string thing is real.
It works.
How does sound go over a string?
You never did that when you were a kid?
No.
It works.
Because we had phones to
It
pick
works.
up and AIM. We had AOL Instant Messenger.
Okay, we can try it later.
Yeah, the string transmits the sound.
I'm going to Google
into
and
the other
saying,
cup.
do cups on strings
It works.
really work?
Look up 2 cups, 1 string.
I'm not looking that up. Oh, this is from Virginia Tech's website. A string telephone works very much like a landline phone. Oh, okay.
It's just some materials are more conductive to sound than others.
Well, I'm learning
okay,
a lot.
so it's a string. Can you play guitar riffs on it?
Oh, I'm sure you could.
Okay.
Someone here answering a question on Reddit, they gave a bunch of bullet points, and the last bullet point is, the sound quality is just horrible. It's like, okay, thanks. We were expecting like beautiful Verizon clear audio until you told us. Anyway.
Well, it's not going to work for me then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it.
I was about to throw out
This
my
podcast.
wireless plan in favor of just getting a cup and string that I could distribute to different people and writing their name on magic marker on the cup. But
I should have just been unspooling string the whole way down the turnpike.
Yeah, for the
Your house.
podcast. Yeah, that's what you should have done. Just left a cup up here in Jersey
Yeah.
and drive to North Carolina with a really big string.
Yeah.
You'd have to stop at extra like Michael's or craft stores.
I wonder if there's a limit to how long you could do the cup, like how long it can transmit sound, you know?
I'm sure it dies out. It dies out after a while. Yeah.
I feel like, or it's got to be like the quality's got to be super shitty
Yeah.
after a certain point. By the way, I've been Googling joint on finger masturbation, whatever, like to see if I could, and mostly there's just like people saying that like fap fingers, or like if you masturbate too much, your hands hurt or your joints hurt or whatever. So that's a thing.
When I was in middle school, which is famous for the time when everybody starts to jerk off, I remember towards the end of school, this one kid that I like kind of knew named Noah came up to me in the hallway and was like, "Hey, Mark, put your hand like this." And he like half like folded his hand, you know, and was just like showing me his palm. And he was like, "Do this." And I was like, "No." And I just walked away from him because I was like, this is going to be something where it's going to be like the fold of my hand is going to indicate that I've been jerking off. And I was like, there's no way that's real, but I'm also terrified that it is real.
You don't want to be found out.
He's going to be like, you have the deepest fold that we've ever seen. You jerk off the most.
He'll just diagnose you with like...
That would be the funniest thing to do to a
just
kid.
one of those like old wives' tales to warn you against doing it. Like your palms will get hairy or one of those. Like this,
Yeah.
this finger.
My favorite joke about that is a dad opens the door to his son's room and says, "Son, if you don't stop masturbating, you're going to go blind." And the son says, "Over here, Dad."
Aww.
Because the dad, all right.
There's
Anyway.
also like some like, I don't even know where this comes from, but like your something with your fingers, like if your middle finger and your ring finger are the same size. No, if your I need to look it up, but it's something like if your index finger and the middle finger are the same size, then you're gay or something like that.
Everything
thank
in
God.
in grade school is like, if this, then gay.
Yee.
Yeah.
Finger size gay. I'm Googling this to see.
So again, I remember some things about.
Ooh, BBC News has an article, length of ring and index finger linked to sexuality. So that, like, yeah, that's
is this
what
like
I've heard.
BBC Kids produced version?
NBC News also has a thing on this.
It's going to be them quoting some one bullshit study that was never peer reviewed or never reproduced or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
It's
anyway,
nonsense. You can be whatever you want with whatever fingers you got.
that's true.
So I know a little bit about Jolene's stand, but did you guys find it weird that at the end of the episode, when she's being like, "I can't reach you right now," and then her stand reaches the guy? Doesn't she say
Yeah.
like to the lawyer, like she's yelling out the window, like, "I might not be able to get to you now, but we'll meet again." But then her stand does get to the lawyer.
And then she kills him or horribly injures him.
It was weird.
I guess she's still like
Yeah.
slowly realizing the extent of the powers, which is weird to me that we're not getting a fuller picture of the stand right away.
Yeah, and it
But
is also
They're just building up for drama, I guess.
this certainly seems to be the longest range stand we've seen on a main character. Usually the Joestar family stands are close range, beat 'em up punches, and we don't know that her stand isn't that kind of thing. But the fact that it could like go out onto the street away from the jail, that's pretty far.
Mhm.
So I feel like right away we've seen that Jolene's stand has
Pretty
a very long range compared to her family's stands.
By the way, just to give the like
Oh,
accurate
no.
information on the thing. Okay, so women whose left index and right fingers are different lengths are more likely to be lesbians.
Hold your hand up.
Well, I don't know. Are they different or the same?
They're a little different.
Okay.
You're a little gay.
I'm a little gay. That's true. So scientists measured the fingers of 18 pairs of female identical twins where one was straight and the other gay. On average, the lesbians, but not the straight twins, had different sized index and ring fingers. Typically a male trait, apparently. Okay.
This is stupid.
But only on the left hand.
When was this study? Is this 2002 or something?
Also, if you say that you're gay, then you're gay. Like,
Oh.
if
Study
that's
shows
really,
that people who
that's-
identify as
that's-
gay might be
that's
gay.
really how you tell.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone was wondering.
If you're
That's really
attracted
how you
to
tell.
the same gender,
Yeah.
you're gay.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Anyway.
Yeah, this episode is it's a trip. should we go through like beat by beat now?
I'm pretty much going through beat by beat of my notes. Like not like, but I'm just kind of doing like each chunk at a time. We can talk. Oh, right. I had another question about Jotaro. So it sounds like he's a deadbeat dad. He's a bad dad.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal? Well, come on, man.
Well, I think that all of the
No, his father was out of the picture. You know, it's like you inflict the hurt on the next generation.
It's that, and all the Joestars and the Brandos, like they are called to like a higher calling, you know, and they end up being very busy. Now, should they have children?
Yeah.
I think the answer is probably no.
So,
but you know,
so what was Jotaro doing last season?
Part 5?
Yeah, what was he doing?
Mostly chilling in a hotel for just to talk to Koichi.
But he had a big grand Italian vacation or whatever, talking to Koichi, and right?
He had a big grand Italian vacation.
Okay, by himself without his wife or kid. Well, actually, I'm assuming wife, but we don't know if they actually got married or if they're together.
He may still have been, you know, jet set flying around, dicking down randos. We
Yeah.
don't know.
Just like his daddy.
Random starfish.
Random fucking jellyfish and all kinds of sea creatures.
But that would have been when Jolene was young, right? She would have been like right? Because that would have been 10 years before this.
You might be right.
Right. So this
he's already. I mean, again,
so
this is
the Italian
important work.
vacation is like when Jolene is like 10 years old or whatever.
I'm gonna double check you, but you might be right. Although it is fair that if you think like Dio's influence is spreading out, like you gotta go on the road.
But it sounds like he just also was never there. Like Jolene is like, I hate
Yeah.
my dad.
His dad was never around either. He was busy blowing into the sax.
What a jerk, man.
Yeah. What can you do?
Bad dads.
So go.
Anyway, should we keep watching this show or what?
Yeah.
I think we should give it at least 38, 39 more episodes. However
Okay.
long it's going to be, because we don't fucking know yet.
We still don't know.
No, I don't think they've talked about how long it's ultimately going to be or anything. It seems like it's going to be another 39 epper, but we don't know. Jackie, what is next on the...
There's a bunch of stuff.
bunch of stuff.
I don't know. What do we want to talk about here? So she, you know, I guess is now friends with Hermes. Like she like mostly is just like confessing to her about like masturbating, and Hermes just wants to know all the details. And then they get into a car and like they're being driven, and Hermes tries to tell her about like, oh, you need to have money on you and stuff. And so she's like trying to give her tips, I guess. And so I guess they're friends, right?
Okay. Yes.
Any thoughts about what goes on in the car
Okay.
when they're being driven around?
I went and read the manga for this, but and in the TV anime, she mentions, or Jolene guesses, like, oh, do you put them in a breast implant?
Yeah.
In the manga translation I read, they just said that she stuffs it into her breast.
Oh, yeah, that's the first thing I would have thought of. But
Like she doesn't have implants.
Like just inside it.
oh wait,
Yeah.
like actually in her skin, like still the
Yes.
same thing. Like she didn't have implants. She just she just made a cut and
Yeah.
stuck it in
It's
her
like,
skin.
I mean, yeah, it seems like in the comic, it seems like the cut is like further back towards her side. It's not like she just cut the side of her titty
yeah.
and shoved it in there, but it seems like the cut starts kind of close
Mm.
near your arm.
That's
More
not
like it's closer to her
sanitary,
armpit,
guys.
I want to say.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a real thing prisoners have done.
Mm.
Maybe they just like
That's
keep
a good
cutting
way to
so
have
it
an
becomes like a
infection.
scar tissue pocket or
Mm.
something. Or maybe Araki thinks that tits are just empty. They're just coin purses waiting to be
You
filled.
can just stuff them with whatever.
Yeah. Who cares? How do they fit the implant in there? They
Yeah.
could just. What if you were so rich you got a breast implant that was just money? Forget silicone. Forget whatever else there is. Saline. It's just money, baby.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
it just feels like real papery on the inside.
Yeah.
Or coiny.
When you get to second base, it's just like it's just crinkly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, and then
Who's
she
the
saves
bad
her friend
guy?
at the later. Sorry, go ahead.
did you just ask me who the
Who do you
bad
think
guy
the
is?
bad guy is?
I'm not telling
Yeah,
you
who do
that.
you think it is?
The bad guy is the prison system.
Yeah,
In this episode at least, right?
it's the man.
The man.
Well, it seems like
Yeah.
she was set up to be, you know what I mean? Like it's very strange. Like the accident that she has with Romeo seems very strange. So Romeo is a villain. She's going to seek out revenge against him. But also it seems like, I don't know, I feel like they were set up to hit that, to like to be involved in this crime.
Why would they be set up? It looked like they weren't paying attention. They weren't looking at the road. He was asking her for a drink and she was like, no. And then that's when they crashed.
You could engineer this. You could tell Romeo you're going to hit a guy on a road. And then you go and you find a guy and you're like, hey, cross the street right now. Come to me.
Do you know why I think this? Because
Why?
the guy was dressed very outlandishly, like the victim.
Oh.
He was dressed like a JoJo character.
Oh, so you think he is the one who set this up? He faked his own death?
No, it just made me think like this isn't a normal guy.
Mm.
And this is not a normal car accident.
Maybe he comes back. Did they say that the guy died or did they say attempted murder?
Oh, no, they say the guy died. That's an important plot point.
Okay.
They say he died, but not until they disposed of, like, he was still alive when they put him in the trunk. They said he died in the field.
Which is how
Anyway.
they get one of the ways that they strangely get Jolene to agree to a plea bargain that isn't actually on the table, because it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna let you off for the hit and run stuff, but then because like it's like, oh yeah, that's all it was just a hit and run, but it turns out it would have just been a hit and run, but they dumped a still breathing guy into a swamp, which killed him.
Yeah.
So them trying to cover up the evidence turned it into murder, but the lawyer didn't tell Jolene that fact.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't think that's how plea bargains work typically. Like you're supposed to there aren't any.
You're supposed to understand what you're agreeing
Yeah,
to.
there shouldn't be any surprises. There shouldn't be any surprises when you take a plea bargain. It's like I'm going to plead this and the sentence is this. Like what it is.
It's not the sentence, the charge.
Not that you know what the sentence is, yeah, but
it should be you're charged with this and that. But I'm sure the prisoners do get lied to. And told like, yeah, you're just going to do this. And then the lawyer is friends with the judge and the people in the system. And they're like, okay, good. Another one processed. Move on.
Damn the man.
That's fucked up.
I mean, I'm sure it happens but it depends, like, I don't know. They could have made it more, or Araki could have made it more obvious that it's like, right, and here's the hit and run charge. But then in the court, they're like, what that charge actually refers to is the whatever. I don't know.
The thing that I think fucked her up is they were like, oh, and the car was stolen. Like you were, who was driving, like, and you stole the car. Basically, it was like, but it was his car. It sounded, it was Romeo's car. But he was like, oh, like, so he was like, I'll report it stolen, because he initially wanted to lie. In the flashback, he says that he wanted to say like someone stole his car and hit this guy, and then that they would dispose of the evidence. But he still reports his car as stolen, but it sounded like one of the charges against her was stealing the car, because like, I think he wasn't even in the car, like I think that's his story. Like no one is bringing him into it, and the car was stolen, and she doesn't refute that. So yeah, it's just like when she heard that, when the lawyer says to her, oh, and you were driving a stolen vehicle, she should have just been like, wait, hold on, no. Like it was Romeo's vehicle and it wasn't stolen. And it's like, oh, well, he reported it stolen. Like she should have just said that. I mean, at that point, she should have been like, okay, well, if he's still saying that it was stolen, then something should be fishy. Then that's something fishy, Like I would think like he's trying to screw me over. Why is she taking the fall for this guy? I don't know. She really seemed like she wanted to take the fall for this guy.
Well, it seems like she doesn't want to snitch because he's like, who was driving the car? And she's like, I can't tell you that.
Yeah, and she loves him or whatever.
So something that's missing from the show that was in the comic at least twice is that mention that Jolene was in a gang when she was younger. Because she says like, what? I borrowed a bike without asking.
Yeah.
When she was 14. She was in a gang called the Hell Rider Gang, which was all about jacking motorcycles and cars.
Okay.
I don't know why they took that out.
They probably wanted her to seem more innocent.
But I like it better because it would explain why she wouldn't want to snitch and where she would get some skills that I'm guessing will come in handy in the prison. And
maybe they'll bring it up later.
Yeah,
she was in a gang.
Maybe, but it's like I said in the first
spoiler.
In the first 3 chapters, it is mentioned twice, but not here at all. But it's also weird. It's manslaughter. You'll get like a year. It's like, what the fuck? That's it. She stole a car, hit a guy. I don't know.
I also want to note that the outfit that she's wearing when she gets out of the car, like in the flashback, is ridiculous. She's wearing like, I don't know, it's like a see-through skirt. It's like a skirt. It's like a
ridiculous?
net. She's wearing like a net as a skirt.
Her dad is a marine biologist. She loves nets.
Like she got out of the car and it's like, it's like a serious, like scary kind of moment for her, but she gets out of the car and I'm like, what? And also note that the night that happened was a couple of days before Halloween. So I'm like, maybe she was going to a Halloween party. It was October 28th. They shouldn't have moved the body.
No, she was right. She was right in that situation.
She wanted to help him.
Araki's comment on this chapter, apparently he does chapter comments, not just volume comments, was leaving behind bloodlines is important to my work. Jolene is alone, but she inherits the heart of her ancestors. And the first chapter was called Prisoner Number 21. Eventually they just called it like Stone Ocean Chapter 1, 2, and 3. And then, because like it's like after these like weekly chapters come out, when he compiles them into a volume, that he starts to see the arcs, and he's like, okay, these first 3 chapters are called Stone Ocean Part 1, 2, and 3. The chapter 2 comment is kind of funny to me because, so there's a comment from Araki about like the nature of his work, or about like who the Joestars are, or who Jolene is. And then for chapter 2, it's, we're looking for an assistant. For details, please contact Mr. Azuma of the editorial department. Thank you. It's like, eventually he's going to be like, license plate ZH132, your lights are on.
Yeah.
Please go to the parking lot. What's the next story beat?
So we find out that Romeo did it to save himself and that he has a rich father that paid off the lawyer. Yeah. And the lawyer grabs his hand and gets very close to his face. It's really weird. I think she should appeal.
But she can't.
Why not?
They say so specifically. It was a plea bargain.
Oh, yeah. Why can't she appeal?
Because she
I guess she pleaded guilty.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. You can only appeal if you are pleading not guilty and they find you guilty. Okay. Well, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote sexy pies to show her butt, but I think there's a typo.
You meant to write
somewhere. Pose.
Sexy pose is my guess.
Thank you. Okay, so that is when she goes into the prison and the lady guard, who also is weird looking.
Yeah, the big one is especially weird looking.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, you got to take off your clothes and spread your ass cheeks. And she's like, like this. And she's like ready to, why is she so eager to do it? I don't know. She was super embarrassed about like someone watching her masturbate, but she has no problem with like getting in different poses. Like right away, she's like, oh yeah, let's do it.
I guess she's adjusting to things. So something else that was dropped from the adaptation in the comic when this happens, and she's like, what if I put my, what if, is this pose better? Where she like leans on her back while naked and stuff. Hermes is shown to be watching this and says like, that's Jolene, huh? And she's like, well, I guess it's to be expected if she did expose herself to the guard or whatever. It's this really weird line.
Yeah.
It's like, did Araki just want to draw Jolene naked for his assumed like male reader base and then needed a character to be like, yeah, that's why she's doing it. She's a freak now. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, Hermes comes back in this chapter, and yet they for some reason dropped it out of the anime. Kind of makes sense because I didn't really understand her fucking comment.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't appreciate.
That's why the manga's not canon.
No, Miles, you're wrong. Shit.
The anime is the original document.
I don't even know if document's the right word. Whatever.
But yeah, she vows to get her revenge. She hears the whole thing because she knows that the lawyer was paid off and everything because she heard that with her thread. And she's in prison and she's like, she vows to get revenge. She has powerful, tough voice and it's awesome. And then you see the lawyer talk to the onion cop. He's like the super short, round cop that looks like an onion frog with bulging eyes.
Yeah, this chapter is called I Will Never Forgive You. And Araki's comment is, short story collection Under Execution Under Jailbreak is on sale. It's a pretty neat book, if I may say so. So he's just hawking one of his Rohan side stories or whatever.
Okay.
Which I guess, you know.
Yeah, and then the last like scene is when we see her kill the lawyer, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It was definitely refreshing to see someone get fucked up in the name of justice.
injustice.
Listeners, if you are a lawyer or a prosecutor or I don't know, if
you're a Japanese native who has brushed with the law.
No. What about, it doesn't have to do with Japanese. I want to know about people in the U.S. legal system.
Well, I wanted to know how it contrasts.
Oh,
if you're a Japanese person who has had brushes with the U.S. law, if you've come here to our country and fucked things up and stolen cars, we'd like to hear from you.
I want someone to write in and explain how plea bargains work. I want someone to, I don't know, just like whatever. But it seems like the enemy here is the justice system.
And are you allowed to strike porn poses when they ask you to strip search? Are you allowed to do that?
It's not a matter of whether you're allowed to. It's whether you want to.
I guess. Other things that are missing include Jolene being arrested in her home and her mom being like, "What's happening?" And right after the whole nude pose scene, there's something where a doctor checks her out and has her open her mouth and pokes her in her eyes to see if she has false eyes. What?
Wow.
And she looks out and sees some prisoners walking and they're naked. And one prisoner just looks extremely masculine, has like pecs and abs and like what you would assume to be like an angular male kind of face. And she says, "Hey, isn't this a woman's prison?" And the doctor just says, "She's been injected with male hormones." And Jolene's comment is, "It is the dawn of a new age."
Whoa. Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Jolene's not some asshole out here being like, "Well, why is she here in this jail?" and blah, blah, blah. She's just like, "Oh, okay, that's new."
Like, okay.
That's new to me.
Okay. I think that's just Araki commenting on like...
Times are changing.
Araki's just like, and this
is a thing people do.
This can be found in prisons as well.
I'm going to believe Araki...
And it's just neutral.
Araki got dressed up as a woman and committed crimes in Florida. You know what? He probably is dedicated to his work and he got arrested. And either that's something he saw or something someone said about him and his masculine body as he's walking around.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm writing a fan fiction.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all the stuff that I noticed in the comic that I did not see in the adaptation.
I would like to learn more about the mom. I would like to figure out who the true villain is and all the other fun stuff.
The true villain.
I want to see some fights.
Oh, there will be fighting.
Because so far we've only seen her use her...
What, in this show?
Yeah.
We've only seen her use her power on regular humans who don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And we haven't even seen her stand, really. We just see a little spaghetti.
From their perspective, like the guard who got his ear cut off, he suddenly just like, "Oh, I can't move my baton," but he can't see the string, right? Because because if you don't have standby, and then suddenly his ear comes off, and then it's like, what the hell? They're probably gonna blame Edmis for it.
Maybe, or the other guard's gonna be like, "That guy smacked his own ear off with a baton." That's why he stopped swinging it. He realized he made a horrible mistake. Well, no, I would assume that Hermes was temporarily saved because they had to stop and scream and be like, "Oh my God, put my ear back on," and they tried to tape it to his head or whatever. Logical stuff. But yeah, I thought this was a very promising start to the anime. It certainly is JoJo in that it opens a bunch of questions, including questions that we can doubt will ever be properly answered because they seem to conflict with previous parts.
Like what?
Like the thing about when, like the inheriting of the stand.
No, I think we figured that out.
Okay, the stand arrow thing then, like...
Okay, that I don't...
Like, if you had to be pierced with an arrow...
Oh, yeah.
And then you can just accidentally, like, slit your finger on something.
Yeah, you can just prick...
That works?
Just
what
prick
the
your
fuck?
finger.
Yeah. So I'm excited to watch more, and Jackie and I, quite frankly, and Miles, we could all just watch it after this podcast. We could go down and...
Watch up too.
Yeah, I mean, Miles, I don't know what your living situation is, but we have to go downstairs to watch TV. We don't have to, but we usually do.
We have a TV up here. We can watch it up here.
We have TVs on all the floors of our house. We're pretty fancy.
All 80 floors.
Yeah. We don't record out of Sears Tower.
We don't have a TV in the attic, so we can't watch TV in the attic. But all the other
I could put one in there.
Okay, we could put a TV in the attic and then we can watch TV up there too.
Yeah. What else can be said about the show? I mean, damn, Sears Tower has 108 floors. Anyway, I'll figure out what building has 80.
Hey, you'll get there.
I'll get there. Yeah. Anything else? Anything left unsaid?
Nope.
Anything that we already said that was better left unsaid?
Can't wait for episode 2.
Yeah.
She had a bad boyfriend. I hope she has learned from that experience and is a better judge of character. She was also, I guess, too trusting of the lawyer. But then again, you should trust your lawyer, so I don't know. But the boyfriend thing, not a great dude. You can kind of tell when they're in the car.
I hope she cuts his head off. You know? I hope she gets some vengeance. I'm not necessarily a big vengeance guy in real life, but in a movie, in a comic book, a TV show, I'd like to see it happen.
He's the one that should be in prison, so she should just find a way to get him in prison and take all his money. She should, because like, it's his fault that she's in prison and she shouldn't be there, and so she should take his money because she should sue, for wrongful. I don't.
You think she should go through the process?
She should sue like the fucking state of Florida for the bullshit that they put her through. All of it.
Yeah. The original title for this arc was A Florida Woman.
And the FBI should investigate the justice system in Florida.
Yeah.
Because they're all corrupt.
Good luck with that.
In this episode.
What, you think you could trust the FBI?
No. But somebody should look into it.
Just to give them a warning. I don't know. I'm excited to see what other fucked up looking characters Araki's going to draw. I'm excited to see stuff that I'm both going to go, oh, I remember this. I remember reading this, 20 years ago or whatever the fuck it's been. And I'm also excited to see stuff that I'm going to go, I don't fucking remember this at all. And it's going to be like brand new to me. And thank you to anybody listening that is only going week by week along with us.
If anyone's doing that, write in and let us know.
Chad is.
Chad is?
Yeah.
Wow, Chad.
Chad is a real Chad.
Damn, yo. I hate that meme.
The Chad and Virgin and Stacey.
I don't like it. Even ironically, I don't like it. I think it's stupid.
I like anything ironically.
God damn it.
Anyway, yeah, let us know either on our Twitter, we're at JJBpod, email us, jojosbizarrepod@gmail.com, or join the fan Discord that we did not set up, but a kind fan set up for us. If you just look up JoJo's Bizarre Podcast on Discord, you'll find it. We're in there sometimes, and it's a good little community of fans and perhaps haters, but no one has revealed themselves that way yet, so that's something else for us to look forward to. I don't know. Look, my brain has fallen out of my ears, and we're going to end this episode.
Yeah, I got a poo.
Yeah, next week we're going to talk about episode 2.
I have another question.
Yeah, keep Miles on the hook.
We are going to talk about episode 2. Do we think that Jolene will potentially take somebody's man through at any point during the season, like what she's named after potentially?
What?
The song Jolene by what's her name?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly
It's going to be
Parton.
stuck in my head for like the next 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that is going to be a big thing in this arc. From what I can remember, Araki does not really take his musical references and their meaning and like actually tie the two together. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, Jackie.
Okay.
Anyway, have a good week, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bing bong.